big wins, big losses, big scores, big news. It's your show. It's Victoria's number one hockey show. It's the Vic League Hockey Show. Welcome. This is episode 2 of the Vic League Hockey Show. Thank you very much for joining me. This is Nick Hoogs, former Vic League keeper. Thank you very much for joining me for the second episode of this wonderful program. Thank you to our great sponsor, Gregory, at the Hockey Equip, and you can check him out at 467 South Road in Bentley. Make sure you mention the Vic League Hockey Show for an extra 20% discount. That's right. Mention the Vic League Hockey Show or even the Vic League Hockey Show podcast show. Get 20% off your gear. And there's heaps to talk about today on the program. Some big wins over the three grades. We've got Frankston's massive win, Casey's massive win. We're going to talk more about Powerhouse, big problems with them, and a heap of other stuff. We're looking at the future of also the Vic League grading system, which is actually huge news. We'll probably see 4 teams come down next year, which I dare say will change the way we look at Vic League going forward. Let's go to the results now, and we've got some big wins over the weekend, and we've got Casey defeating Knox 6-0. It's 2 losses now for Knox under Barry Shearing now, so Knox will be looking at that. Probably had a tough competition going forward though. MUHC lost to MPHC 1-0. Now, someone did talk to me the other day about this. We put MUHC on the Facebook page, and we just wanted to point out that MUHC is Premier League, that's great, but we've got MUHC as well, which is Monash University Hockey Club. So we just made it a little bit easier so you understand, alright? Don't get confused. Pegs defeated Powerhouse 8-0. Yarra defeated Werribee 4-0. And on to Vic League 2 right now. And Echo with another great win over St Bede's 3-0. And Echo sitting very nicely in the position I think they were sitting last year. And they will definitely be looking at this going, yes, we are in a good position coming forward. Vic 6 smashed Latrobe Uni 8-3. Craigieburn Falcons beat Westvic 5-4. And Collex beat Melbourne Razorbacks 1-0. And in Vic League 3, Latrobe Valley beat Melton 3-1. Croydon beat Bayside 4-2. And Frankston defeated GDW 8-0. Now, I've just been talking to a few people behind the scenes about this restructured Vic League competition for 4 teams to potentially go down from Premier League. So Premier League would change from 16 teams to 12, and I do believe that is a wonderful thing. It's great for the game. We need more clubs coming down to Vic League. Now, when I did the State League Hockey Show in 2009, this is going back a long time ago, this is probably before a lot of you people who haven't heard about this program, one season we covered 47 clubs. 47 clubs. Now that was in State League heyday. You're covering State League 1 to State League 5. That is a lot of jargon to talk about over the season. So it's obviously now we only got 27 teams at the moment, which is obviously very manageable for us, but we don't mind having an extra 4 or 5 clubs coming in, which is great. I would like to see someone say like not Melton, I'm sorry, I would say someone like Torquay to come into the Vic League competition. Obviously new ground has come in for new funding for them, and obviously in the Geelong hub area, so that would be a great thing for them to come into Vic League. I would really like to see a club like that obviously develop and grow into another sort of regional kind of club, which would be great. But having said that, that probably won't happen. So, which is fair enough, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But if we're looking at a hub's perspective, we're looking at the state of Victoria itself, and we're thinking, all right, what areas of growth are we looking at, and what can we do to further enhance our sport so we can get those those Casey and sort of Geelong sort of areas. If you look at those two clubs as an example, obviously if you're looking at from a housing perspective, if you're looking for a housing perspective, then you've got a lot of people living in those areas, so you'll sort of want to tap into that, and sort of the clubs already know that, we're tapping into schools, and we've got hook into hockey, and we've got all these other, small things that sort of start the young kids playing the sports, and obviously like that, and those things are I guess pathways into our sport and developing of kids and growing into seniors and all that, and seeing those kids grow up and become leaders of our sport, which is so important, and that all reflects down to sort of back to that hub sort of thing. We're looking at what areas of the state are getting people. How do you tap into that, and how do you make people play the sport? Obviously, we're tackling sports like footy because obviously footy's our national code, and that's fine, that's great. But having said that, we want hockey to be, recognised as one of our sports. And for the people who don't play, they just see hockey as a once a 4-year sport, obviously the Olympics, and that's fine. But we know ourselves as hockey players, and whatever you are, coaches, officiators, managers, whatever you are, you understand the state of Victoria is a hockey nuts. It's great, and I love that. You're going down to watch Premier League, or if you're watching Vic League or whatever, or you're watching your kids play, there's always people. The thing I love about hockey, I love Friday night hockey. Junior hockey is so good to watch because the parents get so involved in it, and it's not like with AFL and parents go on and they bloody, whatever they do. I don't want to talk about that, but you get what I'm getting at. But what I'm saying is that I like the fact that to see parents watch their children, and being a parent myself, it's great to watch kids just being on the field, having fun with their mates, having a laugh, and always I love watching the under-17s. I think that's the greatest. I think it's so good because it's their pathway into the senior development, and they may be already playing seniors. They might have been playing in the JSC or the JCC or whatever it is. And it's so great to watch their development because you really see how good they've from a young age and coming up to now potentially into nearly senior grades. It's great to watch those sort of next group of kids come through and say, yes, this is our next core group of kids that we are going to develop, and they're going to be leaders of our club, and that's so important. Now, just going on further about the Vic League Hockey Show website will be out next Friday. That's right, next Friday. So we are just developing the Vic League Hockey Show Stats Hub or Stats Centre, and that's officially underway. So you'll see some of that at the moment coming through on the Friday. That will be updated constantly. There'll be obviously further changes along the way. There'll be probably things you'll see that are not affiliated with the Vic League Hockey Show or Vic League Hockey in general. There may be some clubs in there who are, hang on a second, they're not there, why are they here? It's just us updating the website. Remember, this is a low budget $0 program, so this is $0. This is off the back of ourselves to do this. We enjoy doing this program, and we enjoy talking about hockey itself, and we will have special guests, as we said, during the season. Probably not every week, but every couple of weeks we'll have talk to people and ask how they're going and how their season is and all that kind of stuff. So be plenty to talk about during the year. Speaking of stats hubs, actually, we can sort of go through some of the stuff we have at the moment. So if we look at teams like Casey, obviously sitting on top, 6 points. The Vic League Hockey Show score at the moment is 18, and it's possibly it is the best VLHS score at the moment. You got guys like Brian Young, David Nunny, Matty Light. they're all top 5 players so far during the season in goal scoring. So, which is great. Then you got sort of like when you go to Vic League 2, you got Echo, who are obviously top of the table. DJ 6 goals. He's at three goals per game. And when we're looking at goals per game in a scenario, we have magic numbers for us, and we look at things very, very importantly, and it tells us what's happening in the season. And there's the magic numbers for us. These are the magic numbers. So you got 10, 2.5, and 2.6, and they're our magic numbers, and they're sort of our reference numbers we look at. 10 is the number of wins in a season that will get you in 99.9% of the time. It doesn't matter what grade it is, it's always 10. And it's always been 10 for as long as I can remember. If I'm a coach, I'm breaking down my season. I'm looking at three seasons in a season. I'm breaking it down into thirds. First 6, second 6, third 6. How am I going in the first 6? Am I doing right? What am I doing wrong? Then the second 6, you're sort of middle of the season. You sort of you've sort of probably played everybody once, and you're probably about to go again. And then the final 6, and we're talking about the last 6 games of the season, coming into the finals, having a best team forward, hopefully punching through for finals campaign, and hopefully winning a flag. And if we go to the 2.5 and 2.6, was we were talking about for, that's for goals per game averages and goals against as keepers. So beating keeper, we look at numbers like obviously the 2.6 is probably your average, or is your average, and we like to reference that during the season. Obviously, the lower the number, the better the keeper. The higher the number, the worse the keeper, and that sort of references as we're going during the season. And for us, that's sort of our reference point, so we can look at each keeper during the season and sort of get an idea of how they're travelling during the season, where their strengths are, where their weaknesses are, who they play well against, who they don't play well against, and that's the numbers that sort of references that straight away. So, and for us, that's important. So, but if you're looking at individual players, we usually say about 1.3 is usually a good number for a player as a goal scorer. That's a pretty standard number for us, 1.3. So, and if we were to look down at every single player that played in Vic League, we'd have a number next to them, and we can sort of see how good they are, and that sort of that number sort of reflects how that individual's going during the season and how they're going really. So, just talking more about the Stats Hub, there's going to be quite a bit of information to look at when it comes through next Friday. So you'll have Vic League 1, 2 and 3 headquarters, or HQ, and you'll be able to see best performance by season, all-time performance, honour boards, all-time games played, ELO rankings, 2022 home and away, and standing goal scorers. So there's quite a bit you'll be able to see with this Stats Hub, and this will change the way we look at Vic League again. There is everything and this Stats Hub is so wonderful. This will be a public page. You'll be able to obviously read it, you'll be able to look at it. Good for coaches too. They can understand how the players are going. So I'll give you an example here. So if we go to something like, say, Vic League 2 all-time goals scored. So we've got Sam Hucks in first, 85 goals, goals per game 1.15. So he is the best in Vic League 2. So then you got Michael Summerton, 66 goals, 0.69 goals per game. So, and then you sort of go a little bit further down, and then you someone like Sean Lawson, 37 goals, 0.36. So, and then if I jump across here on my page to Vic League 1, I can have a look at someone like Max Ferrier, 77 goals, 1.2 goals per game. So, and then I can go further down. I can look at someone like Sean Whitehouse, 54 goals, 0.57 goals a game. and then I can look at all-time games played, hyphenator, 96 games, or I can look at, say, Mark Jackson, 88 games. I've got all this information. You'll have honor boards. You'll have all this information, which is so great. It's definitely going to change the way you look at the sport. You probably think this is a wonderful thing. Yeah, best performance by season, you'll get to see that. Yeah, how many games each club has played in the Vic League seasons, over the Vic League seasons. So this is going from 2014 to now, so this is nearly a 10-year document. So a 10-year rolling document, I should say. It's a wonderful thing that we've brought out, and I'm very proud that this has come through. Very excited to see this. This will change the way we look at the game going forward for us. Now, I just want to congratulate Knox on the commencement of the new ground out at Wantirna Reserve. Well done to you. Congratulations. Finally getting that through. It was a lot of hard work to try and get that new ground. Being at the Knox School for a very long time, I would say since 1997, I think, from memory. Good on you for actually getting your new ground and moving forward from all that drama and all that political jargon. And I'm assuming that your local members have helped you guys out and got your ground sorted and all that, the funding, which is wonderful. We're watching your ground with very close eyes, and to see how it's travelling, and probably speak to a few of you guys during the season to see how it's going, whether it's presidents or whoever it is, vice presidents, anyone like that. We can sort of chat to during the season and see how that progression of that ground is going. Very exciting times for hockey, but also for Knox as well. So congratulations to you. Well done securing a ground. And then the other thing I also wanted to chat about was the whole Mentone Pegs 3-game playoff thing. To be honest, I wasn't really a fan of it, and I was not really for it. To be truthfully honest, I really feel for Pegs because they finished second in the season, so technically they should have just gone up. Now, if we're looking at something like LEC points, that stuff really shouldn't even be considered at this point in time when you got a team like Pegs who'd finished second. And if we look at something like the Stats Hub, again, we can sort of look at that. We can go back to Vic League 1. Like, Pegs in 2018 were runners-up. So, when we're going back to this whole LEC point system, and this is the stuff that sort of boggles my brain. Like, why is someone like Pegs not going to Premier League? They've been a top 4 team for that long. I don't understand why they just have not gone up. Is it the fact that Mentone wanted to have a go at Premier League again because they reckon they had the depth, or was it something else, or was it a joint decision between Pegs, Mentone and Hockey Victoria itself? Because I would love to know more about why this actually happened. The thought of it, I just don't like it. I think you finish second, you qualify to go to Premier League. That's it. And then the other thing I don't like is the whole Northwest Lightning scenario. And there's a lot of people who back me up on this, and talking about how a team that was supposed to go to Vic League 3 somehow changed the name and jumped 2 grades. If I were someone, say, like my club, Bayside, I'd go to Vic League 3 and go, alright, let's just change the name to Brighton, and we'll potentially might even go up a couple of grades. Because essentially that's what it is. And that's exactly what it is. And stuff like this is actually ruining the game. And I can guarantee you that people behind closed doors are saying the same thing. I would not be surprised. Now I'm happy to cop a bit on the way back, but we're going to be real here. This is real hockey. Like, this is real stuff. So And I feel for Pegs, they've been there so many times, and why aren't they going up? They should be in Premier League. They're a Premier League side. They'll probably get relegated, but give them the opportunity to be there. Don't just give it to say Mentone because they won a 3-game series. If Pegs had finished second, therefore they should go up. It's simple as that. Why are we changing? Why are we reinventing the wheel here? Why are we doing this? This is not how we've structured hockey over the years. It really baffles my brain, and it's sort of annoying about it all. And I'm sure whoever thought of this was trying to, I don't know what they were trying to do. And for me, it's just like, nah, it's an absolute no deal. And I hate to see that happen again. Now, 4 teams will come down at the end of the season, and numerous people have told me this. So I can guarantee you there will be, I would dare say, Mentone will come back. I do believe that they will come back, and for us to have 4 clubs come back to Vic League 1 will be a really good thing. It'll show strength, but we may have a massive gap in Vic League 1. We might see first and last. The gap will be huge, and for those clubs coming from Premier League, their depth will be quite strong coming to Vic League 1. So they will be really, really strong coming into Vic League 1 in 2023. So, and there's so much to talk about. I haven't got enough time to talk about all this kind of stuff, but I can happy to talk about it in the next episode. As far as I am standing here talking to you, I do believe this was the wrong decision for this to happen. Peg should have automatically gone straight to Premier League. This is the worst decision I think I've ever seen in hockey for a long time. I'm not having a go at Mentone themselves. I'm not having a go. I'm just having a go at why this decision was made. Now, I could keep crapping on about this all night, but I won't. I'm going to close my trap about it because I'll probably say something that I don't want to say, which probably someone will want me to say. So I need to be a bit more serious in terms of the brand. So, we need, but for anybody listening in the higher power, don't do that again. Please don't do that again, because that's just ruined a club's opportunity to get a Premier League. And then they've got to stay back in Vic League 1 again for another year to try and hopefully get back in, which they probably won't. And that was probably their best opportunity to get in the Premier League. Now let's go to the round 3 competition coming in for Vic League 1 for next week, obviously after Easter. So there is some really great games coming up here. We got Casey versus Yarra Valley on the Saturday, Werribee taking on Powerhouse, Northwest Lightning taking on Knox, MPHC take on Xavier, and Monash Uni take on Pegs. There is some really good games. I do believe that the Casey Yarra game will be definitely game of the week. I would definitely be going down to watch that. It'll be an absolute ripper of a game. For me, I'd have to pick Casey for that game. It's really, it's a one-sided affair for me. The way they're travelling at the moment have been quite strong. So, and they're definitely a premiership chance this year, and I think they know that for sure. So, if we look at Werribee Powerhouse, the thing about Powerhouse at the moment I'm really worried about is, will we see this club go to Vic League 2? Will Hockey Victoria allow this if they, say, lost every game of the season? Now, this is the first time I've actually seen Powerhouse come into Vic League. They've been a Premier League team for quite some time. So, and to see them now in Vic League is good, I would say. But if they were to say lose every game or even win a couple of games, and I dare say that would be going down to Vic League 2 now. That in itself is quite a drop for them. It's not great. You'll look at someone like Bayside who are playing Vic League 1 who are now Vic League 3. A lot of dramas behind scenes with the whole Glen Ira scenario, for people who know about that. So that can be talked about another time. And I would hate to say that, that is that possibility of them going to Vic League 2, and at the stage from our stats, it's saying it's going to happen. So they'd sort of want to, even though it's only 2 games in, well, could be wrong, which is fine. Got no issues with that. But could be a whole season turnaround, as I talked about before. Breaking out the game, or breaking out the season into 3 sixes. So into thirds. So. And that's how I would be looking at my season. So you could lose the first 6 games and then winning the next 12 or whatever. So only early days, I would say. We go to Northwest versus Knox. That's going to be a good game. Barry Shearing is first season coach. Got a lot to prove. Obviously, if you look at someone like MPHC, you've got a new coach. Adrian Stuve still at Pegs, and got Casey still current coach. So for me, I'd have to tip Northwest. Just going and gut feel, being out of Bendigo, and that's how I've been looking at it. So it'll be a good game to watch. Definitely be. And that ground is really good. It's a great ground to play at. So if everyone's ever played at the Bendigo Hockey Centre, it is a good ground. And we'll look at the next game. Excuse me, MPHC take on Xavier. That'll be a great game. Now Xavier's quite low at the moment in the ladder position, which is quite surprising for me. MPHC is looking quite strong. Connor Cruz is ex-Knox, so he'd be happy with where they're sitting at the moment. So for us, MPHC is the best of the mid-pack teams, and they've been that way for a good 3 or 4 years now. So they sort of want to be going for finals this year. I would dare say they will finish 4th. I definitely reckon they're a 4th sort of team. They'll just scrape in because they've been 5th a couple of times and 6th. They're sort of the hanging out mid-pack team, and they will definitely get the win on the Saturday. So I dare say they will be a finals contender down towards the end of the season. And the last game is Monash Uni Pegs. Now Pegs should win that game, but being Monash Uni, it just look, it's hard to say. Look, I don't. Waterbase is quite funny, and just the bounce, obviously being water-based ground, and if it was Pegs, I'd say Pegs straight away. So I wouldn't take Monash Uni out of the game, but I could nearly pick a draw, just being at Monash, because it's such an unpredictable ground. So, and that's sort of where I'm looking at it from that perspective. On to Vic League 2 now, and we got Craigieburn Falcons taking on St Beeds, and that'd be a really great game. I definitely see Craigieburn taking the win there over St Beeds at the Hume Hockey Centre. Will be an absolute ripper game though. Another great game will be Echo versus Melbourne High and at Koonong. So look, Echo at the moment haven't lost a game, 2 games in, doing a great job. They look really strong, the same position as they were last year, so finishing first. Obviously then coronavirus had knocked out the season, so Echo is just picking up where they left off, and so they will definitely be a top 3 team this year. I would definitely say a top 3 team this year. So they'll definitely get the win against Melbourne High, and it will be a great game otherwise. Latrobe Uni taking on West Vic at Latrobe Hockey Centre at 2 o'clock, and Latrobe, I would give them the win. I reckon they will go alright there. I reckon they'll get it done. And Melbourne Seeks taking on Melbourne Razorbacks out at Parkville. Now, this could go anyway, but I'll go for Seeks. I definitely reckon they will get the win. And finally on to Vic League 3, we got GDW taking on RMIT. Now GDW, so the lower end, both clubs at the lower end of the Vic League 3 spectrum, so GDW should get it done over RMIT. We've got Croydon Rangers taking on Melton. That'll be a great game out of Yarra Valley. Look, I'm going to have to tip Melton here. Why? I always find that Melton are a really strong club on the road, and for Croydon, they would want to definitely get the win, sort of bump them up early in the season, and it'll be definitely a great game to watch. And finally, the other game is Franks taking on Bayside. That'll be out at Peninsula Hockey Centre on Sunday. So with some awesome players from both clubs representing their teams. And look, for me, I've got to go Frankston. They've been outstanding the last 2 rounds, and it's obviously thanks to Andrew Hanning. He's doing a wonderful job out at Frankston, and good on him. I will definitely get him on the show the next couple of weeks. He will be having a chat to us about their seasons, how they're travelling, and it'll be good to get a perspective from the Frankston point of view out of there too. For Bayside, obviously signing Lucarello as coach just recently, obviously a couple of games in, sitting sort of the bottom. Look, for the new coaches that have come in the Vic League grades, they haven't really been going too great, obviously 2 rounds in, so I would just give them a go first for the first season. So I don't expect much from the new coaches who have come in. There's been about 6 or 7 new coaches. So we look at those clubs. So obviously Bayside. Then who else was Knox, Latrobe Uni, all those guys. Alex Tan had come in. Ex-Yarra, so I don't expect much from the coaches for their clubs being a first year in. So, but having said that, will be a lot of surprises to come during the season. And that's about it for the show. Thank you very much for joining me. It has been quite a bit to talk about. Obviously, hopefully your team gets over the line on the weekend, and good luck to your team. Remember to stay up to date with us throughout the Facebook page and the new website coming in with heaps of information up too. I am Nick Hughes. Thank you. We'll speak to you next week. Bye for now.